The alarm is ringing. You open your eyes, but you don't want to. Your body feels heavy. Your head is foggy. Your arms feel like lead. You're tired before the day has even begun. You take a shower, but even the water can't wake you up. The hot water runs over your skin, but the fog in your head remains. You drink coffee, but even the caffeine has no effect anymore. With the first sip, you hope, maybe this time it will work. But even the third cup doesn't wake you up. You sit down at your desk and look at the screen, and a voice inside you says, "Today too? The same thing again? This maze again?" It's not just your body that's tired anymore. Your mind is tired. You're mentally exhausted. And worst of all, this exhaustion doesn't go away with any vacation. You rest on the weekend, but on Monday morning, you wake up with the same heaviness, as if you hadn't rested at all, as if those 2 days were just an illusion. This isn't just fatigue, this is burnout, and you're not alone. Millions of people wake up every morning with the same feeling, with the feeling of, I can't do this anymore, with the feeling that everything is too heavy, with the feeling that maybe I'm not cut out for this job, and most dangerously, with the feeling that maybe the problem is me. But the problem isn't you. The problem is the system. The problem is living in a world that forgets to rest, that teaches you to always be on, that mistakes emptiness for weakness. The problem is growing up in a culture that tells you to work harder, be faster, be more efficient, but never says rest, stop, breathe. Today, I'll share with you a secret discovered by Miyamoto Musashi. That strength comes not only from movement, but from stillness. That rest is not weakness, but strategy. That silence is not emptiness, but fullness. And most importantly, that escaping mental exhaustion is possible not by working harder, but by stopping in the right way. Chapter 1. The Invisible Burden of Burnout. Now I'll describe a real scene to you. Wednesday afternoon, 3 p.m. You're at your desk in the office. In front of you are 7 open tabs, 3 unfinished reports, 2 meeting notes, 15 unread messages on Slack, each looking urgent, 43 new notifications in your email, some marked red. Your phone vibrates. A notification, then another, then another. Your boss asks, "Where's that report?" A teammate asks for help. "Can you make this chart?" Someone else adds a meeting. "Are you free tomorrow at 9? And you look at the screen but you can't see. Words are blurry. Sentences are meaningless. Your brain is like a slow computer. Every click is delayed. Every thought is incomplete. You read a sentence but forget the beginning by the time you reach the end. You open a file but can't remember why. And a voice inside says, "Am I too slow? If everyone else can do it, why can't I? Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe this job is too hard for me." You come home in the evening. You eat your dinner but don't taste it. You put the fork in your mouth but don't know what you're eating. You turn on Netflix but can't watch it. You sit in front of the screen, the show is playing, but you don't see it. You just stare at the screen. Your head is empty but also full. Work thoughts are spinning. Tomorrow's meeting, the unfinished project, your boss's look, that email, that deadline, and you're trying to relax. But your mind, it can't stop. You can't turn it off. There's no off switch. It just spins. And you get lost in that spinning. You get into bed. You're tired, but you can't sleep. You close your eyes, but your mind is open. It's 11, then 12, then Nitak. At 2, you're still staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks in the ceiling, like watching a shadow play. And when the alarm goes off in the morning, you wake up even more tired, as if you hadn't slept at all, as if you'd run a marathon all night, and the cycle starts again. Alarm, shower, coffee, sit at the desk, stare at the screen, see nothing, come home, lie down, can't sleep, wake up, repeat. This isn't just a bad week, this is burnout. And the modern world makes it seem normal. Everyone is tired, they say. You have to work for success, they say. There's nothing wrong with you, you just need to get used to the pace, they say. But that's a lie, because success doesn't come with burnout. Success comes with sustainable energy, and that energy starts with learning to rest. But they don't teach you to rest. They only teach you to work. And then they wonder why everyone is exhausted, why everyone is taking medication, why everyone is unhappy. Chapter 2. Musashi's Journey. 1612. A mountain road stretching through southern Japan. Musashi has been walking for days. He's going to his next duel. On Ganryu Island, he will duel Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro is a famous samurai, fast, deadly, unbeatable, and Musashi walks. The road is difficult. The weather is hot. The August sun is overhead. The dusty road crunches under his feet. Sweat trickles down his back. But Musashi is in no hurry. He stops occasionally. He sits under a tree. He closes his eyes. Sometimes for an hour, sometimes longer. He just sits. He does nothing. He doesn't think. He doesn't plan. He doesn't strategize. He doesn't rehearse Kojiro's techniques. He doesn't review sword-holding positions. He just is there, breathing, listening to the wind, hearing the birds. And then he gets up and walks again. One day, a young samurai sees him. They meet on the road. The young man is excited. "Master Musashi," he says, "it's an honor to see you, but I want to ask you something. Why are you standing still? The duel is approaching. Kojiro is waiting. Don't you need to train, prepare, review your techniques? Everyone is worried about you. Kojiro is very strong, and you're just sitting there." Musashi opens his eyes. He looks at the young man. There is a smile on his face, but it is not a tired smile. It is a calm smile. "I am preparing right now," he says. The young man is surprised. He looks around. "But master, you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there. You don't even have your sword with you." Musashi leans against a tree. Doing nothing is the hardest thing, because the mind doesn't know how to stop. It's always running. It's always thinking about. It constantly plans. But strength comes when you stop, in the void, in the silence. "If I think about Kojiro now, I'll be tired tomorrow. But if I rest now, I'll be strong tomorrow. Do you understand?" The young man doesn't understand, but Musashi doesn't care. He gets up and walks again. And a few days later, he arrives at Ganryu Island. The duel begins, and Musashi wins. One move. Kojiro is defeated. But the reason he wins is not just his technique. The reason is his energy. Because he rested on the way, his mind is fresh. His body is rested. His reflexes are sharp. His eyes are clear. Kojiro, on the other hand, is tired. Because Kojiro trained constantly until the day of the duel. He thought constantly. He prepared constantly. He hasn't slept for nights. And at the moment of the duel, his mind is clouded. His body is tired. His move is slow. Musashi's power doesn't come only from movement. It comes from emptiness. And that emptiness is his greatest weapon. Kojiro didn't lose with his sword. He lost because he couldn't rest. Chapter 3. Ma, Mushin, and Kaizen. There are 3 concepts Musashi applied on that journey. All 3 will help you overcome mental exhaustion. The first, Ma, space. In Japanese, Ma is not just physical space. It's mental space, emotional space, the silence between 2 movements, the gap between 2 thoughts, the moment between 2 breaths. And Musashi taught that power lies in this space. Because what moves constantly is not strong. What moves constantly tires. Eventually, it falls. But what pauses, what rests, what creates space, that possesses sustainable power. That wins in the long run. Ma means this for you. Create small voids every day. Between meetings, between projects, between thoughts. Just stop, breathe, do nothing. And in that void, your power will recharge. Second, Mushin, empty mind. This is a state of mind free from thoughts. But be careful. This is not meditation. This is the mind's natural resting state. Musashi did not think before a duel. He did not strategize. He did not imagine Kojiro's movements, because he was already prepared. He had trained for years. He had practiced techniques for thousands of hours. He no longer needed to think. His mind was empty. And an empty mind is the fastest mind, because thoughts slow down the mind. Thoughts like, "I should do this, I should do that," paralyze you. But emptiness speeds up the mind. It sets you free. You can do the same. Stop thinking constantly. Stop planning constantly. Take a break. Clear your mind. Rest your mind. Because a tired mind can produce nothing, but a rested mind creates everything. Third, Kaizen, small steps. Musashi didn't make big changes. He didn't become a completely new person in a day. He took small, consistent steps. He rested a little every day. He created a little space every day. He grew a little stronger every day. And over time, these small steps created great power. You can do the same. You don't need a big vacation to get out of burnout. A 2-week vacation in Bali is not the solution. Sadhak, you need a little space every day. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, doing nothing, just sitting, just breathing, just being. And over time, that space will heal you. Not in a day, but in a month, 3 months, 6 months, you'll notice. You're no longer that tired person you used to be. You're a strong person who has learned to listen. Chapter 4, The Trap of the Modern World. Now, let's bring this to today. The modern world teaches you to be constantly on. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check your phone. You reach for it before you even open your eyes. Instagram, Twitter, email, news, notifications, 27 new messages, 15 new emails, 8 Slack notifications. And before you even get out of bed, your mind is full. You read email at breakfast, fork in one hand, phone in the other. You listen to podcasts on the way, productivity tips, the morning routines of successful people, how to get more done, and you listen. You take notes. You think you'll apply them. At the office, you rush from meeting to meeting, one at 9 a.m., another at 10:30 a.m., a third at noon, no lunch, just checking Slack, 47 new messages. You read them all, you reply to them all, you come home in the evening, turn on Netflix, but even while watching a show, you check your phone, email, Instagram, Twitter. You're constantly scrolling, constantly consuming, but you never stop. Your mind is never empty. It's constantly consuming something, constantly thinking about something, constantly doing something, and the system expects this from you. Be fast, it says. Be productive, it says. Use every second, it says. Time is money, it says. Resting is wasting time, it says. But no one asks, is this sustainable? No one asks, how are you? No one asks, is your mind resting? No one asks, when was the last time you did nothing? Because the system doesn't want you to rest. The system wants you to produce, to keep producing more, faster, more efficiently, and you produce until you burn out. Until one morning you wake up and say, I can't do this anymore. And then the system tells you, maybe you're not strong enough. Maybe you're not cut out for this job. But the problem isn't with you. The problem is with the system. It wasn't like that in Musashi's world. He knew that power had to be sustainable. If he had expended all his energy in every duel, he would have lost the second one. He would have died in the third. But he rested. He created space. He conserved his energy. And he won 61 duels. All of them. Because he played the system's game, but by his own rules. You can do the same. But first, you need to see the system's lie. Resting is not weakness. Resting is strategy. Space is not loss. Space is gain. And if you don't learn to rest, you will lose. You will lose yourself. Chapter 5. 3 strategies. Now I'm going to give you 3 concrete strategies. You can apply them tomorrow. First strategy. Create Ma. Do nothing for 10 minutes a day. This is not meditation. It's not chanting a mantra. It's not breathing exercises. Just sit. You can close your eyes or leave them open, but do nothing. No phone, no computer, no books, no music, no thinking. Just be. The first day will be very difficult. Your mind will bother you. It will say, you're wasting your time. It will say, you should finish that report. It will say, this is stupid. Get up and do something. But keep going. The second day will be a little easier. On the third day, you'll notice. Your mind will start to calm down. Your thoughts will slow down. On the 5th day, those 10 minutes will be the most valuable 10 minutes of your day. You'll start to look forward to them impatiently, because those 10 minutes are your man, your emptiness, your power. Strategy 2, Mushin, the mind-emptying ritual. When you get home in the evening, take 5 minutes. Write down all the thoughts in your head on a piece of paper. I need to talk to the boss tomorrow. I need to finish the report. I need to call mom. I need to reply to that email. The project deadline is approaching. I need to prepare for Monday's meeting. Write everything down, big or small, important or unimportant. Whatever is in your head, pour it onto the paper. Then close that paper. Put it in your drawer. And from that moment on, those thoughts are no longer in your head. They're on the paper. You'll look at them tomorrow, but not now. It's simple, but powerful, because the mind learns to empty itself. It says, I don't have to hold on to these thoughts. It says, I can write them down. It says, I'll deal with them tomorrow. And the emptied mind can rest, just like Musashi emptied his mind before a duel. Third strategy, Kaizen, micro breaks. Don't wait for a big vacation. Don't say, I'll take 2 weeks off in the summer, then I'll rest. Because even if that vacation comes, your mind won't be able to rest. Because you've forgotten how to rest. Create small moments of rest every day. 5 minutes between meetings. Get up from your desk. Go to the window. Look outside. Breathe. 10 minutes at lunch. Eat your meal, but don't look at your phone. Just eat. Savor it. 15 minutes before bed. Turn off the TV. Turn off your phone. Just sit. Do nothing. And over time, these small moments will create a big change. Because burnout doesn't happen in a day. It builds up slowly. A little in the morning, a little at noon, a little in the evening, and one day you've accumulated it. You're exhausted. And recovery is the same. Slowly, in small steps. 10 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes in the evening, and one day you've recovered. You've regained your strength. Chapter 6. Tyler's story. Let me tell you about Tyler, who works at a marketing agency in San Francisco. He's 34 years old, creative director, considered successful. He has a nice apartment, a good salary. His team likes him. His boss trusts him. But by the end of 2023, Tyler was completely burned out. Every morning when the alarm went off, he wanted to turn it off and go back to sleep. He spoke in meetings, but couldn't hear his own voice. It was as if someone else was talking, and he was just watching. He finished projects but felt no satisfaction. A campaign would be successful, the client would be happy, but Tyler felt nothing. Emptiness. Just emptiness. One day, his boss called him into his office. Tyler, you've been really tense lately. Is everything okay? He said. And Tyler realized something in that moment. I'm burned out. Completely burned out. He took a week off. He went to Lake Tahoe. He walked in nature. He looked at the scenery, but it didn't help, because just resting wasn't enough. It wasn't physical rest that was the problem. He needed mental rest, and he didn't know how to rest his mind. Even in Tahoe, he was checking his phone. He was reading emails. He was checking Slack. He was thinking, is the team managing okay? And when he returned a week later, he was more tired, because he had taken a vacation, but he hadn't given his mind a vacation. And he watched this video. At first he was skeptical. Sit for 10 minutes? Is that the solution? He thought. But he decided to try it. The next morning he sat for 10 minutes before going to work. He did nothing. He just sat. The first day he felt strange. I'm wasting my time, he thought. 3 minutes later, he wanted to pick up his phone, but he didn't. He kept going. The second day was a little easier. On the third day, he noticed his mind calming down. His thoughts were slowing down. By the fifth day, he was eagerly awaiting those 10 minutes. A month later, his boss said to Tyler, "What have you been doing? You seem much clearer lately. You're calmer in meetings. You make decisions faster." Tyler smiled. "I just stopped," he said. "Every morning I stop for 10 minutes. I do nothing. And those 10 minutes change my whole day." 6 months later, Tyler is still at the same job, but he's no longer exhausted, because he learned Ma. He learned to create space. He learned Mushin. He learned to clear his mind. He learned Kaizen. He learned to improve in small steps. And that space gave him his strength back. Tyler realized he didn't need a vacation. He needed every day, every morning, every 10 minutes. Chapter 7. Rest is not weakness, it is strategy. Now, let's go back. Why did Musashi stop on that mountain path? Because he was tired? No, because it was strategic. He knew strength had to be sustainable. If he had spent all his energy on the road, he would have lost the duel. He wouldn't have been able to keep up with Kojiro's speed. His reflexes would have slowed. His mind would have clouded. But he rested. He created space. He conserved his energy. And he won the duel. Because his opponent was tired. Kojiro hadn't slept for nights. He had thought constantly. He had trained constantly. He had thought, Musashi is strong, I must defeat him. And at the moment of the duel, he was tired. He was slow. Musashi, on the other hand, was fresh. He was fast. he won. It's the same in the modern world. If you work constantly, you will eventually burn out. One day, 1 month, 1 year later, you will burn out. And then you won't be able to do anything. But if you rest strategically, you will have sustainable power. You can work for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, without getting tired, without burning out. And this is not weakness. It's the greatest strength. Because everyone is running, but you are walking. While everyone else is burning out, you are resting. And in the end, you will win. Because the race isn't for the fastest runner. It's for the one who can endure the longest. It's a marathon, not a sprint. A career isn't a year. It's 40 years, and you can't run for 40 years. But you can walk for 40 years by resting. Chapter 8. Now it's your turn. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, try this. Don't reach for your phone right away. It will be your first instinct. You will reach out your hand. But pause. Just sit for 10 minutes. Sit on your bed. Move to the chair. It doesn't matter where you sit. Just sit. Do nothing. Don't think. Don't plan. What will I do today? Don't go back. What did I do yesterday? Just breathe and observe. What is your mind saying? Is it saying, you're wasting time? Is it saying, get up, you have work to do? Is it saying, this is stupid? Allow it. Just allow it. Don't try to stop the thoughts. Just observe. The first day will be hard. Very hard. But keep going. The second day will be a little easier. On the third day, your mind will start to calm down. On the fifth day, you'll notice you're more alert now. You're thinking more clearly. You're calmer in meetings. Decisions are easier to make. You're less tired. Musashi discovered something 400 years ago. That power comes not only from movement, but from stillness. That rest is not weakness, but strategy. And today, you too can find that power. At your next meeting, your next project, your next moment of crisis, remember, rest is not weakness. Rest is strategy. Emptiness is not loss. Emptiness is gain. And when you learn to rest, you will never run out. Because you have found Ma. You have found emptiness. You have found Mushin. You have found the empty mind. You have found Kaizen. You have found small steps. Now it's your turn. Comment below. Did you try Ma for 10 minutes a day? What changed in your mind? How did it feel on the first day, the third day, the fifth day? Because you learned something by watching this video. But the real healing will begin tomorrow.